aside from the gall of being this out in the open with it, we're approaching a point where the media wants credit and backpats for what they did during the election. They want us plebeian masses to thank them for being shown what is best for us. Looking through this article, it's almost unbelievable at times. And the only thing I can think to say right now is the media is the biggest problem for the average voter. I don't want to call them an enemy, but they're definitely a problem. One that you and I can do something about. They need to be dismantled. Alternatives need to be offered. YouTube, as it was in the last decade, the Wild West, it needs to come back. Anyone could be the media on YouTube. And I think as we recover from the reality of the Biden presidency, you and I and anyone who cares about this country can start fighting for it by opposing the media and being the alternative. It's blatant at this point. They want credit for what they did. They know what is best for us. The article I'm talking about is in the Times right now. It's blowing up conservative Twitter. And anyone who wants to stop and think about it for a minute should read it. Read it slowly. Take your time with it, because it'll make you angry, and I hope you stay that way. It's almost a parody. Corporate America turned on him, they wrote. Business leaders who backed Trump wanted him to concede. Of course, this line wants us to think that Trump wasn't trying to fight a legal battle, that he didn't exhaust his options. By all accounts, he did. To me, Trump wanted to stay president, and to this day still wants to be president. Whether he runs in 2024 or not, I don't know. I hope he stays involved in politics regardless. I've promoted the idea that instead of creating a third party, we probably need to just create a sanctuary for all the rhinos, take over the Republican Party, because we cannot give the left a supermajority. I need you to bear with me. I'm not going to ask you to be skeptical. Just listen, if you will, and really look at just how on its face this article is. The article says, it was all very strange, Trump said on December 2nd. Within days after the election, we witnessed an orchestrated effort to anoint the winner, even while many key states were still being counted. In a way, Trump was right. There is a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. They're just outright saying it right there. A conspiracy behind the scenes. It's right in front of your face. If you aren't angry yet, try it. Try being angry about this for a second. The media is not your friend. They're going to doublespeak you into the dust. They're going to make you ashamed of who you are, what you are. They're going to current year you so far back, you're going to completely forget about freedom. Just look at how this country looks compared to what it was just 10 years ago. Just look at YouTube. Look at the stuff that you could get away with back then. And it's a shame to even call it getting away with, because this is stuff that we should be able to talk about. If I had made this video last week and I talked about the election this way, I'd most likely get my channel shut down. But I'm going to read it from the Times article in the meantime. While politicians in this country are bad enough, I don't think they have the power that the media does. They hate the fact that somebody like me is out there with a $50 microphone and free recording software. They don't want you to question this. They don't want me to question this. And they certainly don't want me to encourage anyone else who wants to sound off to be able to have a platform to do that. Do you think there's a shadow cabal made up of politicians and business people? Before today, you couldn't talk about that. But guess what? Journalists are allowed to use that language. Could we see a journalism license at some point? Do we already have one? Hard to say. The Times is, of course, a left-leaning publication, which may be why they were able to get away with this. I don't know. There's so much to cover in the article. I think I'll do a couple videos on it. But I just want to say, before we go any further, it's brazen. In a way, Trump was right, the article continues. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. The pact was formalized in a terse, little-noticed joint statement of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and AFL-CIO published on Election Day. Both sides would come to see it as a sort of implicit bargain. Inspired by the summer's massive, sometimes destructive, let me stop right there. Sometimes destructive, there was $500 million worth of damage during the Floyd riots. But I'll continue. Sometimes destructive racial justice protests in which the forces of labor came together with the forces of capital to keep the peace and oppose Trump's assault on democracy. The handshake between business and labor was just one component of a vast cross-partisan campaign to protect the election. An extraordinary shadow effort dedicated to not to winning the vote, but to ensuring it would be free and fair, credible, and uncorrupted. I think right there is enough to call it corrupted in the first place. It's doublespeak. They're telling you what to think. It was media corruption. It's proved by the media. That's not something any journalist should write. But let's continue. That's why the participants want the secret history of the 2020 election told. That's right. They want their congratulations now. It's crazy to me that this is even. Well, it's right there. Even though it sounds like a paranoid fever dream, a well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies, working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and I'll replace the word steer here with coordinate, and control the flow of information. They were not rigging the election, they were fortifying it. And they believe the public needs to understand the system's fragility in order to ensure that democracy in America continues. It's right in front of your face. They want to be celebrated for it. They want their backpats. They want you to thank them for this. My friends, don't let them feed you this without questioning it. There's so much to dig into. I don't know that I could consolidate it all into one video. I just got to ask you to really think about what they're saying here. Is it blatant, in your face, media collusion, corruption, and coordination? Get angry about it. I can only feel one way. And if you're going to be angry, make your own video. We have to be the alternative. We have to question this. Because you will be made to care. And they will make you thank them for it. Stay angry, question the media, and don't let them get away with it. See you on the next video.